The pen hovers, trembling above the reservation book. Eyes flick from the Williams family's press suits to the empty tables glowing under the chandelier. Nia counts them, 12 vacant, each one a silent witness. I need to check availability. Footsteps. Approach sharp against the marble. I'm afraid we're fully committed tonight. A fist tightens. The phone in Nia's pocket vibrates. Your commitment seems selective. A cockroach darts from the kitchen, unnoticed by most. Light fractures across polished shoes. The air grows heavy, thick with grease and unspoken rules. Nia's lens captures everything: the ink blot, the scurrying insect, the untouched seats. A smile hardens. A napkin tears beneath the counter. Perhaps another establishment would suit your needs. A quiet reply. Almost a whisper. We'll wait. The reservation book closes on a smudged name. The chandelier dims, shadows swallowing the lie. Before the story continues, please let us know from where you are watching this video. Write your city or country in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit like if you believe in stories that challenge injustice. Your engagement gives power to voices that need to be heard. The lie lingers in the air, dressed up as routine. Fully committed. The words hang, too smooth, too quick. Tasha doesn't blink. Is it policy or preference? Her voice is calm, but it lands hard. A cufflink glints, a tiny shield against the truth pressing in. A waiter clears his throat, glancing away. The staff exchange looks, a silent current passing between them. Richard's jaw tightens, but his tone stays cool. We have to follow our usual standards. A pause, thick and loaded. Standards that change by the customer. He hesitates, lips pressed thin. We treat everyone the same. A small laugh escapes Marcus, low and tired. Everyone except us. The hostess fidgets, her hand trembling as she straightens menus. In the background, a dishwasher's memory flickers. Scrubbing plates, resignation letters buried under a stack of ignored complaints. Nia's phone is warm in her hand, Livestream ready. The chandelier's glow fades, shadows crawling up Richard's face. He shifts his weight, suddenly unsure. The staff stand a little taller, eyes on Tasha, waiting for something to break. Richard tries to recover. If you'd like to come back another night, perhaps we can accommodate. Tasha's gaze doesn't waver. We're here now. A hush falls, the kind that makes every sound louder. A fork drops in the distance. The balance in the room shifts, almost invisible but real. Marcus folds his arms, steady as stone. We're not leaving. Richard looks around, searching for support, but finds only the quiet resistance of his own staff. The weight of the moment presses down, and for the first time, his confidence falters. A business card slides across the polished counter, its edge gleaming under the fading chandelier. The words, City Health Department, catch the light, drawing every eye. Richard's throat works as he tries to swallow, hand gripping the wood for balance. The card sits between them, a silent line in the sand. Tasha's voice is even. We'll need to see the kitchen now. He stares at the card, jaw tight. Is this necessary? It's overdue. Nia lifts her phone, camera lens fixed on Richard's paling face. The hostess freezes, menus clutched to her chest. A cook peeks from the kitchen doorway, eyes wide. A cockroach crawls across the counter, pausing beside the card. Nia's camera catches it, the image sharp and damning. Richard's hand trembles as he tries to sweep the insect away, but it scurries toward his reflection in the glossy surface. Marcus's tone is gentle but leaves no room for argument. We'll begin the inspection. The staff stand motionless, spatulas and ladles suspended mid-air. Richard looks to them for help, but no one moves. The kitchen is silent except for the faint hum of the freezer and the sound of Tasha snapping. On gloves, a rat's tail flickers past the open freezer door, a flash of gray against stainless steel. The tension in the air is electric, every breath measured. Richard's composure cracks. his knuckles whitening where he grips the counter. The card remains untouched, more powerful than any raised voice. Tasha nods once, her dignity unshaken. Let's get started. The staff exchange glances, a mix of fear and relief. The card's presence is a promise, justice delivered not with anger, but with quiet. The kitchen door swings open and the smell hits first sour meat, old oil, something rotten beneath the surface. Tasha steps inside, gloved hands steady, eyes scanning every corner. Richard follows, shoulders drawn tight, sweat beading at his hairline. The sous chef stands by the sink wiping a plate that's already clean, gaze fixed on the floor. Tasha lifts a crate, mold blooming along its edges. She doesn't flinch. How long has this been here? The sous chef's voice is barely a whisper. Weeks. Richard's reply is clipped. We've been busy. Sometimes things slip. Marcus checks dates on packages, marking each one in a small notebook. These expired last month. Richard bristles. We're addressing it. Tasha's tone is measured. You're documenting it now. Nia's phone is raised, streaming live. Comments pour in, angry, shocked, demanding answers. The cook, at the stove, glances up, eyes darting to Richard, then back to the bubbling pot. A rat darts behind a stack of pans, its tail flicking as it disappears. The dishwasher's hands tremble as he stacks plates, his lips pressed in a thin line. Richard wipes his brow, the collar of his shirt damp. This isn't how we usually operate. Marcus doesn't look up. But it's how you're operating now. Tasha snaps a photo of the mold, her expression unreadable. The sous chef finally meets her gaze. He knew. We all did. The kitchen's fluorescent lights buzz overhead, harsh and relentless. The air is thick with the weight of what's been hidden, what's been allowed to fester. Tasha lowers the crate, her voice low. We'll need to see the freezer next. The staff exchange glances, a sense of something shifting. The kitchen's secrets are out, and there's no way to put them back. Nia's hands steady her phone, the livestream's red dot pulsing as the kitchen's decay is broadcast to thousands. Comments scroll, fast shocked emojis, angry words, questions demanding accountability. Richard tries to step between Nia and the worst of it, but Marcus blocks his path, arms folded, eyes unwavering. Richard's voice is tight. Turn that off. This isn't for the public. Nia doesn't flinch. People deserve to know. The sous chef glances at the screen, recognition flickering in his eyes. A waiter, hands shaking, whispers, My sister's watching this. Tasha's health inspector badge catches the overhead light. We're not hiding anything. A cockroach crawls across the counter, pausing in front of Richard's engraved nameplate. The camera zooms in, capturing the moment. Richard's jaw clenches. You're ruining my business. Tasha's reply is quiet. You did that yourself. The kitchen staff gather near the doorway, drawn by the hum of the live stream. The dishwasher wipes his hands on his apron, eyes shining with something like hope. Across town, Javier sits on his couch, phone in hand, watching the numbers climb. He types a comment. I tried to warn them. The tension in the kitchen shifts. The staff, standing a little taller. The livestream's numbers soar past 50,000. Marcus glances at Tasha. Ready? She nods. Let's finish the inspection. Richard's shoulders sag. The weight of exposure, of truth finally spoken aloud, settles on him. The kitchen is no longer his domain. It belongs to the eyes, watching, to the voices rising in the chat. As the Williams family turns to leave, the doorbell rings, a sharp, clear sound. Outside, a new restaurant's sign glows. For everyone. Inside, the last image on Nia's phone is the cockroach crawling over Richard's name. The world has seen, and nothing will be the same. A greasy handprint smears the wall near the swinging kitchen door, left by someone moving too quickly, too nervously. Tasha's gloved fingers pause over the mark, tracing the outline. The staff avoid her gaze. One busboy coughs into his sleeve, eyes darting to the exit. The sous chef wipes sweat from his brow, pretending to focus on a spotless counter. Richard lingers in the doorway, arms crossed, watching every move. "We keep a clean operation," he says, voice a little too loud, a little too forced. Marcus doesn't respond, just inspects the corners, jotting silent notes. Tasha turns to a waitress, her voice gentle. "How long has it been like this?" The waitress hesitates, then shrugs, her lips pressed together, unwilling to risk more than a glance. Nia's camera catches the exchange, the tension in the room thick as old oil. The kitchen's hum is broken by the clatter of a dropped spoon. A line cook bends to pick it up, hands shaking, then quickly returns to chopping onions, eyes fixed on the cutting board. Tasha kneels, lifting a tile to reveal crumbs and dust. "Regular cleaning?" Richard's jaw tightens. "We have standards. Maybe the staff missed a spot." The busboy's hand trembles as he stacks plates, one nearly slipping. Marcus marks another note, his expression unreadable. A cockroach darts along the baseboard, vanishing behind a stack of unused trays. Nia's phone follows it, streaming live. The staff exchange glances, some guilty, some relieved that someone else is finally asking the questions they've been too afraid to voice. Tasha stands, her eyes sweeping the kitchen. "We'll need to see the storage next." Richard nods stiffly, the authority in his posture slipping just a little more. The inspection moves deeper, but the stains on the wall remain, a record of what's been left unchecked for too long. Nia's phone captures. The moment the freezer door swings open, frost spills out, but it's not the cold that makes everyone shiver. Black mold clings to the ice machine, creeping along the edges, staining the cubes that glint under the harsh fluorescent lights. Tasha leans in, her breath fogging the air. Richard tries to block the view. "That's just a bit of buildup. We clean it regularly." Marcus shakes his head, voice flat. "This isn't new." A server, arms crossed tightly, mutters, "It's always like that." The sous chef wipes his hands on his apron, eyes darting to the floor. Nia zooms in, broadcasting the mold to the live stream. Comments flood in, outrage mounting. "How long has this been going on? Is this what they serve?" The kitchen's illusion of cleanliness collapses in real time. Tasha scrapes a sample into a small bag. "This will need testing." Richard forces a smile, lips barely moving. "We can fix this. Just give us a chance." Marcus's reply is quiet but sharp. "You had plenty." A line cook glances at the camera, then looks away, jaw clenched. The waitress from earlier edges closer to Tasha, her voice barely above a whisper. "We tried to tell him. He didn't listen." The mold glistens, undeniable, a black mark on the restaurant's reputation. Nia pans her phone across the freezer shelves, revealing spoiled meat and leaking bags. The viewer's comments become a roar. Richard steps back, suddenly looking smaller, his authority shrinking with every new revelation. Tasha seals the sample bag and meets Richard's gaze. "We'll need to see the rest." The freezer door closes with a thud. The kitchen secrets are no longer hidden, and the illusion of luxury has shattered for everyone watching. The kitchen is thick with steam, the air heavy and warm. A waiter leans close to Tasha, voice barely above the hum of the dishwasher. "They told us to ignore certain tables," he confesses, eyes darting nervously. The chef nods slowly, regret shadowing his face. Richard's footsteps echo down the hall, but the staff's loyalty has shifted. The steam carries stories that can no longer be contained. Tasha's gaze is steady, absorbing every whispered word. A busboy wipes his hands on his apron, his fingers trembling slightly. The dishwasher pauses, eyes fixed on the floor, the weight of silence pressing down. Nia's phone captures the moment, the live stream humming with anticipation. Comments flood in, voices from outside joining the chorus of truth. The kitchen's heat feels suffocating, but also cleansing. as if the steam itself is burning away years of hidden pain. Richard stands at the doorway, arms crossed, his usual, confidence replaced by a flicker of doubt. He watches the staff, their faces a mix of fear and newfound courage. The balance of power shifts imperceptibly. A quiet revolution unfolding in the shadows. A line cook drops a knife, the sharp clang, breaking the tension. Heads turn, breaths catch. The moment stretches, heavy and electric. Then, slowly, a nod passes between the staff, a silent pact. Tasha steps forward, voice low but firm. "We're done hiding." The kitchen exhales, the steam swirling around, them like a veil lifting. The truth is no longer a whisper, it's a rising tide. Marcus flips through a thick folder, pages yellowed and corners curled. Health inspection reports stamped, "Resolved," fill the binder, but the ink is faded and the signatures shaky. Grease stains mark the edges, a silent record of corners cut and warnings dismissed. Yelp reviews from Black patrons echo a pattern unwelcome, overlooked, never quite served with the same care. Richard stands behind the counter, arms folded, watching Marcus with a forced calm. "We've always passed out checks," he says, but his voice wavers, the old certainty gone. The chef glances at the folder, lips pressed tight, remembering the cash slipped into envelopes, the quiet agreements that kept trouble away. Tasha reads a line aloud, her tone flat. "Complaint dismissed. No follow-up required." She looks up, meeting Richard's eyes. He looks away, jaw clenched. A server edges closer, her hands wringing a towel. "I heard them say not to worry, that it's all taken care of," she whispers, barely audible. The staff exchange glances, guilt and relief mingling in their faces. Nia's camera records the moment, the live stream audience growing. Comments appear. "How many times did this happen? Who else knew?" The kitchen's hum grows louder, as if the building itself is restless. Marcus sets the folder down, his expression unreadable. "This isn't just about dirt," he says quietly. "It's about who gets protected and who doesn't." Richard's fingers drum the counter, his mask slipping. The folder sits between them, a barrier built from years of avoidance and easy answers. Tasha closes the binder with a soft thud. The sound ripples through the kitchen, final and heavy. The staff stand a little straighter, the truth now out in the open, impossible to bury again. Nia's phone glows, the live stream's viewer count ticking higher with every second. The kitchen's secrets spill onto screens across the city. Comments pour in, some shocked, others furious, many simply asking, "How long?" Richard tries to step between Nia and the camera, but Marcus blocks him, arms folded, gaze unwavering. Richard's voice cracks. "Turn that off. You're making things worse." Nia doesn't flinch. "People deserve to see what's real." The sous chef wipes his brow, glancing at the screen. A server, voice trembling, says, "My brother's watching this right now." Tasha's badge flashes as she moves closer. "We have nothing to hide." A cockroach scuttles past Richard's nameplate, the camera catching every detail. Richard's face flushes. "You're destroying my reputation." Tasha's reply is soft but firm. "You did that yourself." The staff gather near the doorway, drawn by the gravity of the moment. The dishwasher, hands damp, whispers, "Finally," Javier, watching. From a small apartment, types into the chat, "Told you they'd find out." The comments surge. "Shut it down." "Justice now." "Never eating there again." The tension in the kitchen shifts. Employees straighten, eyes meeting Tasha's, relief and fear mingling. The live stream's numbers soar, the truth impossible to contain. Marcus glances at Tasha. "Ready for the next step?" She nods, her resolve clear. "Let's finish this." Richard backs away, shoulders slumped, authority draining with every new revelation. The kitchen is no longer his domain. It belongs to those who dared to speak, and to the thousands watching, demanding change. As the Williams family turns to leave, The bell at the front rings. A sharp final sound. Outside, a new restaurant sign glows, promising something better. Inside, the last image on Nia's phone is the cockroach crawling over Richard's name. The truth is out, and it's not going back. A crate drops onto the counter with a heavy thud, startling everyone in the kitchen. The sous chef's hands are shaking, eyes red-rimmed and tired. "I warned you," he says, voice rough, barely above a whisper. Richard stiffens, jaw set, but doesn't answer. The cook's anger simmers, years of frustration bubbling up. Tasha looks at the crate, mold crawling along its edges. "How long has this been here?" The sous chef swallows hard. "Too long." No one cared. A line cook glances over, pausing mid-chop. "We all knew. He told us to ignore it." Richard's voice is brittle. "That's not true. I never—" The sous chef cuts him off, louder now. "You did. You always did." Nia's phone is steady, capturing every word. The livestream chat explodes with support for the staff. The dishwasher wipes his hands on his apron, nodding in agreement. Tasha's pen hovers over her notebook. "You're doing the right thing now." The sous chef's shoulders sag, relief and shame mingling on his face. He glances at the other cooks, searching for solidarity. One by one they nod. Richard tries to regain control, but his voice falters. "We can fix this. We just need time." Marcus shakes his head. "You had time. You wasted it." A fluorescent light overhead flickers, buzzing louder than before. The kitchen feels smaller, the walls closing in. The staff gather, united by a shared decision. The sous chef wipes his eyes, breathes deep, and stands straighter. Tasha closes her notebook, her tone gentle but firm. "Let's move on." The sous chef nods, finally meeting her gaze. "Thank you." Richard stands alone, surrounded by the consequences he tried to ignore. The crate sits open, its contents exposed for everyone to see. The kitchen's secrets are out, and the staff have chosen to stand together. A sudden gasp ripples through the kitchen as a rat scurries across the prep table, its tail streaking through a smear of frosting on the wedding cake. Nia's camera follows, zooming in as the livestream erupts with disbelief. The rat pauses, nose twitching, then disappears behind a stack of pans. The moment hangs, raw and undeniable. The sous chef's voice trembles. That's not the first. A busboy steps back, bumping into a shelf, eyes wide. "They come out at night." We tried to tell him. Richard's face drains of color. "This isn't normal. It's a one-time thing." A server shakes her head, lips pressed tight. "It's every week." Javier's resignation letter, once hidden at the bottom of a drawer, is pulled out by the chef. He holds it up, paper shaking in his hand. "He called us pests, said we were lucky to have jobs." Tasha reads the first line aloud, steady and clear. "You treat us like roaches." The kitchen falls silent, the accusation echoing louder than any shout. Richard's cufflink snaps off his wrist, clattering to the floor and rolling into a drain. He bends to retrieve it but stops, staring at his warped reflection in the steel. The staff watch, some with pity, others with a sense of justice finally arriving. Nia's phone buzzes with notifications. "They're sharing this everywhere," she murmurs. The dishwasher, voice barely above a whisper, says, "Maybe now they'll listen." The chef places Javier's letter on the counter, next to the ruined cake. The rat's trail remains, a dark line through white icing, impossible to erase. Tasha nods once, her resolve unshaken. "Let's finish the inspection." Richard straightens, but the weight of the truth is heavier than ever. The kitchen's rot is no longer a secret, and the world is watching. Waiters stand at their stations, polishing forks that already shine, eyes darting from Richard to the floor. The hostess tears a napkin into strips, her hands moving faster as voices rise in the kitchen. A server glances at Nia's phone, the live stream's glow reflected in her anxious gaze. The staff's discomfort is palpable, a quiet current running beneath the surface. Richard tries to regain control, voice clipped. "Let's keep things moving." No one answers. The busboy stacks plates, one slipping from his grasp and clattering onto the counter. He flinches, cheeks flushed, but no one scolds him. Tasha watches, noting every reaction. Is there a maintenance log for the leaks? A line cook shrugs, wiping his brow. We told him last month. Nothing changed. Marcus photographs a slow drip from a pipe overhead, water pooling on the tile. The chef's lips press into a thin line as he wipes the puddle with a towel, shoulders hunched. The hostess finally speaks, voice barely above a whisper. We all saw what was happening. We just didn't know what to do. Nia's camera pans across the staff, capturing nervous glances and fidgeting hands. The live-stream chat is filled with empathy and outrage. Richard's jaw tightens, but he says nothing, his authority slipping further with each sideways glance. A waiter sets down a tray with a shaky hand, then stands a little taller, emboldened by the presence of witnesses. Tasha nods, her tone gentle. Thank you for being honest now. The staff exchange looks, some relieved, some still afraid, but the shift is clear. The kitchen is no longer united in silence. The truth is spreading, one gesture at a time. The chandelier overhead flickers, casting fractured light on faces that have chosen, finally, to look up and see one another. Tasha pulls open the heavy freezer door, a rush of cold air swirling around her. Frost clings to the shelves, but it's the towers of spoiled meat that draw every eye. Nia lifts her phone, documenting the gray slabs and leaking bags for the live stream. The viewer's outrage is instant, scrolling across the screen in a flood of disbelief. A rat's frozen stare meets the camera from behind a box of wilted greens. The line cook steps back, muttering, "We told him about this. He said it wasn't our concern." Richard's response is defensive, voice tight. "We rotate stock. Nothing sits here long." Marcus checks expiration dates, shaking his head. These have been here for months. The chef's hands tremble as he rearranges boxes, trying to hide the worst of it. Tasha's voice is steady. "We'll need to document everything." The waitress from earlier stands in the doorway, arms crossed. "We stopped eating the staff meals. Couldn't trust what came out of here." Nia zooms in on a patch of black mold creeping along the back wall. The busboy covers his mouth, eyes wide. The freezer's hum is loud but not enough to drown out the sense of reckoning. The staff exchange glances, some ashamed, others relieved that the truth is finally being seen. Javier's words echo in Tasha's memory. "You treat us like roaches." She glances at the rat, still watching, unblinking. Richard's posture sags, the weight of exposure settling on his shoulders. Tasha seals another evidence bag, her movements deliberate. We're almost done here. The freezer door swings closed with a heavy thud, sealing in years of neglect. The kitchen stands quiet, the staff gathered, the truth no longer hidden in the cold. The heat in the kitchen is suffocating, sweat staining collars and dampening resolve. Richard's face is flushed, his usual composure slipping like sand through fingers. Marcus watches quietly, pen poised over the checklist, marking violations with a steady hand. The staff move with a new purpose, their eyes sharper, their steps firmer. A line cook wipes his brow, glancing nervously at Richard. This can't keep going," he mutters, voice barely audible. Richard's voice cracks. "We're doing our best. It's not perfect, but it's enough." Tasha's gaze is unwavering. "Enough for who?" A waitress folds her arms, her jaw tight. "Not enough for us." The dishwasher's hands tremble as he stacks plates, eyes downcast but resolute. Marcus steps forward, voice calm but firm. The violations aren't just numbers. They're lives, safety, dignity. Richard's shoulders slump, the weight of exposure pressing down. His cufflink, once a symbol of control, now feels like a shackle. He runs, a hand through his hair, the first sign of defeat. The kitchen hums with quiet tension, the air thick with unspoken truths. The chandelier above flickers, casting fractured light on faces that have seen too much but are ready to see more. Tasha closes her notebook, voice soft but clear. We're almost done here. The staff exchange glances, a silent pact forming. The old order is crumbling, and with it, Richard's grip on power. The scene fades on the sweat-stained collars, a testament to the unraveling authority and the dawn of accountability. Javier's old apron hangs from a hook above the dish pit, stiff, with dried soap and faded from years of use. The chef pauses beside it, fingers brushing the fabric, eyes clouded with regret. The dishwasher glances up, catches the gesture, and nods, once silent understanding passing between them. Nia's phone pans to the apron, the live-stream chat erupting with messages. Who was Javier? Tell his story. The staff gather, near, drawn by the memory. The line cook speaks first, voice rough. He worked harder than any of us, never complained, just kept going. The waitress swallows hard. He tried to speak up. Nobody listened. Richard lingers by the sink, face drawn and pale. He opens his mouth, but no words come. The chef finally turns, voice trembling. He left a letter, said he was tired of being treated like he didn't matter. Tasha asks softly, Can I see it? The chef nods, pulling a crumpled envelope from the back of a drawer. Marcus reads aloud, voice steady. You treat us like we're invisible, but we're here. We see everything. The dishwasher's eyes glisten. He was right. We all saw it. Richard shifts, uncomfortable, hands clenching at his sides. The staff stand together now, a wall of quiet resolve. The kitchen feels smaller, the air heavier with truth. Tasha places a reassuring hand on the chef's shoulder. Thank you for sharing this. The chef nods, wiping his eyes with the back of his sleeve. Nia's camera lingers on the apron, the symbol of a worker, forgotten but not erased. The staff's silence is no longer fear, it's memory, solidarity, and the beginning of something new. The dish pit, once a place of isolation, becomes a shrine to resilience. Tasha hangs the closed sign on the front door, the bell above it chiming with a clear, final note. The sound echoes through the empty restaurant, bouncing off walls that have witnessed too much. Outside, former staff gather on the sidewalk, some holding hands, others wiping away tears, all watching as the last chapter ends. Richard stands behind the counter, shoulders slumped, eyes fixed on the floor. His authority, once absolute, has faded into the background noise of the city. He glances up at the windows, but no one meets his gaze. The community has shifted, their trust gone, their hope moving elsewhere. Across town, Javier unlocks the door to his new diner. The sign in the window glows. All welcome. He smiles as the first customers step inside, laughter and conversation filling the space. The scent of fresh bread and spices drifts out onto the street, drawing a line of hungry neighbors. Back in the Williams kitchen, Nia tapes her live stream screenshot to the fridge, the image frozen on Richard's stunned face. Marcus stirs a pot of jollof rice, humming an old tune. Tasha sets the table, her movements calm and steady, a quiet celebration in every gesture. Nia scrolls through messages of support, her eyes shining. They're saying thank you, Mom. They're saying it matters. Tasha smiles, voice soft but strong. Change starts when we stop swallowing their lies, Marcus adds, and start cooking our truth. The restaurant's lights click off, one by one, until only the glow of the street lamps remains. The final chime of the bell fades, replaced by the sounds of a city ready for something new. The Williams family sits down to eat, the world outside, a little different, the future just beginning. The inspectors move in, shoes squeaking on the tile, crisp uniforms brushing past startled staff. Their presence is a wave, washing away Richard's control. He tries to stand tall, but his hands twitch at his sides. Drawers are opened, pans lifted, every hidden stain brought into the light. A health inspector lifts a lid, revealing spoiled vegetables. How long has this been here? Richard's voice is thin, We rotate stock. That must have been missed. A staff member, hands shaking, mutters, "It's always missed." The air is thick, heavy with dread and anticipation. A waitress clutches her order pad, knuckles white. The sous chef wipes his brow, eyes darting to the exit. The inspector's pens scratch across their forms, each note another crack in the wall Richard built around his reputation. Nia's camera pans the room, catching every reaction. The live-stream chat explodes. "Look at that!" "Shut it down," Richard's smile falters, a practice mask slipping away. Marcus stands by the door, arms folded, watching the unraveling. A drawer sticks, then pops open, revealing a nest of old receipts and crumbs. An inspector frowns, jotting down another violation. Richard's jaw clenches, but he says nothing. The staff exchange glances, some relieved, some afraid, all aware that the reckoning has arrived. The kitchen's hum grows louder, the sound of the refrigerator and the inspector's voices blending into a chorus of judgment. Each stain revealed, each drawer emptied becomes a reckoning for years of neglect. Richard's practiced confidence flickers, panic flashing in his eyes. He looks around for support, but finds only the silent stares of his staff and the relentless gaze of the inspectors. The truth floods the kitchen, unstoppable, leaving Richard exposed and powerless. Flashes erupt as reporters surge through the doors, cameras raised, microphones extended. The kitchen is suddenly a stage, every corner illuminated, every flaw exposed. Richard tries to compose himself, straightening his jacket, but the harsh light reveals the sweat on his brow and the tremor in his hands. A reporter calls out, "Is it true you ignored staff complaints?" Richard's voice is strained. "We address all concerns promptly." A camera zooms in on a pile of dirty pans, the lens lingering on a cockroach darting behind a stack of plates. Another journalist presses, "How do you explain the violations?" Richard forces a tight smile. "We're cooperating fully. This is all a misunderstanding." The staff exchange anxious glances. The sous chef shifts his weight, eyes darting to the exit. A waitress bites her lip, her order pad forgotten. The busboy, frozen by the walk-in, stares at the floor. Nia's phone captures it all. Live stream chat racing with outrage and disbelief. "Look at his face. He's lying." Finally, someone's watching. A flashbulb pops, catching Richard mid-blink, his expression caught between defiance and fear. The kitchen's flaws are no longer hidden. Every stain, every crack, every neglected corner is now evidence. Marcus stands quietly by the prep table, arms crossed, gaze steady. Tasha's eyes never leave Richard, her calm presence a silent indictment. A reporter's question cuts through the noise. "Will you resign?" Richard hesitates, lips pressed thin. No comment. The staff's collective. Breath is held, waiting for the next question, the next revelation. The kitchen, once Richard's domain, now belongs to the cameras, the reporters, and the truth. Every flash captures not just dirt, but years of buried injustice now brought to light. Richard's carefully crafted image unravels, thread by thread, under the relentless glare. Cornered by the crowd of cameras and the relentless gaze of the inspectors, Richard's voice drops, stripped of its usual polish. "Can we talk? Just us?" His plea is thin, desperate, barely audible over the reporter's questions and the hum of the kitchen's machinery. Marcus steps forward, steady and unflinching. "The public deserves the truth," Marcus says, his words landing with finality. Richard glances at the staff, searching for support, but finds only wary eyes and crossed arms. The reporters press closer, microphones poised, waiting for a confession or a collapse. Richard's hands fidget at his sides. "There's context. You don't understand. We've had challenges." Tasha's voice interrupts, calm and unwavering. "Everyone faces challenges. Not everyone hides them." The staff shift, some nodding, others looking away, but none stepping in to shield him. A waiter clears his throat, voice trembling. "We tried to tell you. No one listened." A cook adds,
"We were told to keep quiet." Richard's shoulders sag, the weight of years pressing down. I never meant for this to happen.
Marcus's reply is quiet but sharp. Intent doesn't erase harm. A reporter asks, "Will you apologize to your staff and customers?" Richard hesitates, swallowing hard. I'm sorry for any distress caused." The words hang in, the air thin and unsatisfying. The staff exchange glances, a silent verdict passing among them. The kitchen feels different now, the old rules of privilege and secrecy crumbling in real time. Tasha meets Richard's gaze, her expression steady. It's time for accountability, no excuses. The cameras capture every flicker of emotion, every crack in Richard's composure. The staff, once silent, now stand as witnesses to a new order being written, one where truth is no longer hidden behind closed doors. Richard's hand shakes as he reaches for his cuff, trying to regain composure. The silver cufflink slips from his fingers, bouncing off the counter and skittering across the tile before vanishing into a floor drain. The sound is sharp, final. He freezes, eyes fixed on the empty space where the emblem once gleamed. A reporter's camera zooms in, catching the moment. The staff notice to a line cook's lips part in surprise. The dishwasher lets out a slow breath. The waitress glances down, almost sympathetic. Richard's authority, once so solid, feels suddenly fragile. He tries to speak, voice thin. "It's just a cufflink." Marcus's reply is soft. "Sometimes it's more than that." Richard looks at his reflection in the stainless steel fridge. The image is warped, smaller, the lines of his suit distorted by the metal's cold surface. The kitchen's hum grows louder, the refrigerator and fluorescent lights blending into a relentless background drone. The staff stand a little straighter, emboldened by the shift. Tasha watches Richard, her gaze steady as if waiting for him to realize what everyone else already knows. A busboy, emboldened, wipes down a counter with a new purpose. The sous chef quietly sets aside a stack of dirty pans, shoulders squared. The staff's movements are different now, less hurried. More deliberate, as if a weight has lifted. Richard bends to retrieve the cufflink but stops, hand hovering over the drain. He straightens, leaving it behind, the gesture small but telling. The cameras catch every second, every falter. Tasha closes her notebook with a gentle snap. "We're almost finished here." Richard nods, but the mask is gone. He stands exposed, stripped of the trappings that once set him apart. The kitchen's hum fills the quiet, swallowing the last of his confidence. The symbol of power is gone, and so is its hold. Nia's livestream explodes with new viewers, the numbers climbing higher every second. Phones buzz across the city as people tune in, their comments racing up the screen. Finally, "My cousin worked there. This is justice." The kitchen, once private, is now a public courtroom, every detail broadcast and judged in real time. Richard tries to shield his face from the camera, but there's nowhere to hide. "Enough. Turn it off. You're making a spectacle." Nia's voice is steady. "People need to see what's real." A health inspector glances at the screen, then at Richard, eyebrow raised. The sous chef stands behind Nia, silent but supportive, arms crossed. Tasha's phone buzzes with notifications. She glances down, reading messages of support and outrage. The staff gather near the prep table, drawn together by the momentum. A waiter whispers, "My mom's watching this." Marcus nods, his presence grounding. "It's time people knew." Richard's shoulders slump as the comments pour in, each one a verdict. He did this to himself. Shut it down. Never again. A reporter lifts her mic, voice clear. "Anything you want to say to the viewers?" Richard hesitates, words catching in his throat. We're cooperating. We'll do better." The chat erupts with disbelief. Too late. "You had your chance." The staff stand together, no longer afraid, their unity visible to everyone watching. Nia pans her phone across the kitchen, capturing the faces of those who endured, those who spoke up, those who refused to look away. Tasha's words cut through the noise. "Justice isn't loud, it's steady, it's here." The kitchen is no longer Richard's kingdom. It belongs to the truth, to the people watching, to the voices that will not be silenced. The livestream's roar is relentless, a chorus of validation and shared pain. Richard stands alone, exposed, as the digital world holds him accountable in a way he never imagined possible. One by one, the staff move forward, voices trembling but determined. The waiter speaks first, eyes fixed on the floor. I watched people get passed over for service. I wanted to say something, but I needed this job. His hands twist a towel, knuckles white. A cook steps up, voice rough. We warned him about the leaks, the food, the way customers were treated. He told us to mind our business. The sous chef nods, adding, we were told to keep quiet or find another place to work. A dishwasher wipes his hands on his apron, then looks straight at the camera. We're not invisible. Not anymore. Richard tries to interrupt, voice shaking. You all could have come to me. The staff shake their heads, a silent chorus of disbelief. The line cook's jaw tightens. We did. You just didn't listen. Nia's phone catches every confession, the live stream chat filled with support and heartbreak. You're brave. Thank you for telling the truth. We see you. Tasha stands with them, her presence steady. Your voices matter. They always did. Marcus nods, his approval quiet but clear. This is how change begins. The staff stand closer together, a wall of solidarity forming where there was once only fear. The kitchen, filled with the years of secrets and survival, feels lighter, as if the truth itself is clearing the air. A busboy, usually silent, steps forward last. I thought if I kept my head down, nothing would change. But I'm tired of pretending. Collective awakening is quiet but powerful. Each story, each admission is a stone laid in the foundation of something new. The kitchen transforms, not with shouts or threats, but with the simple act of speaking up and standing together. The silence that follows is full, not empty, carrying the weight of justice finally spoken. Outside, a crowd gathers, faces pressed. Against the glass, voices rising in a wave of expectation. Reporters angle their cameras, microphones ready. The community has come not just to witness, but to demand answers. Inside, Tasha stands tall, her presence calm and resolute. She faces Richard, who now seems smaller, shoulders hunched beneath the weight of so many watching eyes. A woman in the crowd shouts, "We want the truth!" Others echo her, fists raised, hope and anger mingling in the air. The staff stand behind, Tasha united, their fear replaced by a sense of belonging. Marcus steps forward, his voice steady. It's time to answer for what's been done here. Richard's mouth opens, but no words come. The cameras catch every flicker of doubt, every tremor in his hands. Tasha's voice is clear, unwavering. Clean your kitchen and your conscience. The words hang between them, heavy as a verdict. A reporter calls out, "Will you apologize to the community?" Richard stares at the floor, searching for words that won't come. The staff exchange glances, a silent agreement passing among them. The crowd outside grows louder, their energy surging through the glass. A little girl presses her hand to the window, eyes wide. "Is it over, Mama?" Her mother kneels beside her, whispering, "It's a new beginning." Richard finally speaks, voice barely above a whisper. "I'm sorry." But the apology feels hollow, lost in the swell of voices demanding more than words. Tasha turns to the staff, her expression softening. "You stood up. That matters." The staff nod, relief and pride flickering across their faces. The kitchen, once a place of secrets and fear, now stands as a testament to dignity restored. Outside, the crowd cheers, the sound rolling through the doors, a promise that justice has found its voice. Richard stands in the middle of the kitchen, surrounded by the bustle of staff and the hum of cameras, yet utterly alone. He tries to speak, but his voice is lost in the rising noise outside. Reporters no longer point their microphones at him. Their focus has shifted to the staff, to Tasha, to the community's voices echoing through the glass. He reaches out, hoping for support, but The staff step away, their unity palpable. The sous chef busies himself at the stove, the dishwasher stacks plates with quiet determination, and the waitress wipes a counter that's already clean. Each gesture is a gentle refusal, a clear message that Richard's authority has vanished. Reporter calls his name, but it's only to ask the staff how they feel. Richard's hands tremble at his sides. He looks for an ally, but finds only the backs of those who once depended on him. The kitchen's energy has shifted. The staff move with purpose, their fear replaced by a sense of ownership. Nia's phone captures Richard's isolation. The live-streamed chat filled with comments, "He's finished." This is what accountability looks like. Richard tries again, voice barely audible. I tried. No one answers. The staff are busy, their attention fixed on each other and the work at hand. Outside, the crowd chants for change, their voices swelling. The sound is both a celebration and a warning. The old ways are gone. Richard's shoulders slump, the weight of his downfall settling in. He is a figure forgotten in the middle of his own domain. The kitchen, once his kingdom, now belongs to those who stood together. The downfall is not dramatic, but complete a quiet erasure, an end marked not by shouts, but by the absence of anyone willing to listen. A health inspector steps forward, pinning a bright closure notice to the front door. The paper flutters for a moment, catching the light, a symbol of finality. Richard stands nearby, watching as the badge gleams on the inspector's chest, a reminder that justice, though slow, has arrived at last. He catches his reflection in the cracked glass of the entryway. The image is fractured, lines splitting his face into uncertain pieces. He reaches out, fingertips brushing the surface, but the mirror offers no comfort. Behind him, the staff gather in the background, forming a quiet circle of relief and vindication. Tasha stands with them, arms folded, her gaze steady. Marcus offers a gentle nod to the chef, who exhales, shoulders finally dropping. The waitress wipes a tear from her cheek, a small smile breaking through. The busboy, usually silent, whispers, "We did it." Reporters snap photos of the notice, documenting the end of an era. The crowd outside cheers, their voices muffled but unmistakable. Richard steps back, shoulders sagging, his presence shrinking with every passing second. A line cook places a hand on the dishwasher's back, a gesture of solidarity. The staff exchange glances, the weight of years lifting as hope settles in. The kitchen, once a place of secrets and fear, now feels lighter, the air easier to breathe. Tasha's voice is soft but firm. This is what change looks like. Nia captures the moment on her phone, the live stream audience sending hearts and words of encouragement. Richard lingers by the door, one last look at the place he once ruled. The badge shines, the mirror cracks, and the staff stand together, ready for what comes next. The closure notice flutters again, sealing the chapter. Justice has been served, and a new story is waiting to be written. The last customer steps out, the bell over the door ringing with a clear final note. The sound lingers as the staff gather near the entrance, shoulders touching, faces shining with relief. Outside, the community remains, talking in small, hopeful groups, their voices weaving through the night air. Inside, the kitchen is quiet. Tasha turns off the lights, each switch a gentle goodbye to the past. Marcus places the inspection folder on the counter, closing it for good. The chef wipes down the prep table one last time, hands steady now, not hurried or afraid. Richard stands, alone in the center of the empty restaurant. He looks around, searching for something to hold on to, but finds only echoes. The staff do not look back as they leave, their steps purposeful, their unity unbroken. Nia lingers by the door, phone in hand. She takes one last photo. The closed sign, the empty tables, her family standing together. She sends it to Javier, who replies, "It's a new day." Tasha pauses at the threshold, glancing back at the space that once held so much tension. She smiles, small and satisfied, then steps into the night. Marcus follows, hand resting on her shoulder. The staff embrace outside, laughter and tears blending as the weight of years finally lifts. The community applauds, a gentle, rolling sound. That fills the street. Richard remains inside, the silence pressing in. The restaurant, once his domain, is now just a building, waiting for a new story. The bell over the door sways once, then settles. The Williams family walks home together, Naya's phone buzzing with messages of support. The night feels lighter. The city changed in small but meaningful ways. The promise of something better hangs, in the air, ready to be claimed. Richard presses the closed sign against the glass, the suction making a faint pop as it seals the fate of his restaurant. His reflection stares back, warped and uncertain, lines of worry etched deep. Outside, former staff gather in small clusters, their laughter sharp and clear in the evening air. They don't look his way, but their joy is unmistakable. A freedom reclaimed. A cockroach crawls along the edge of the sign, its tiny legs tracing the word closed. Richard watches it, unable to move, a symbol of everything he let fester. His phone vibrates in his pocket, screen lighting up with another flood of angry messages and damning reviews. Each notification lands like a blow, reminders of the empire, slipping through his fingers. He turns away from the window, shoulders sagging. The kitchen behind him is empty, the hum of the refrigerator the only sound. He sits on a stool, scrolling through comments. About time. Should have happened years ago. No more lies. The words sting, but he can't look away. Outside, the staff's voices rise, stories and laughter spilling into the street. Someone passes around a plate of food from Javier's pop-up across the way. The scent drifts through the open door, mocking the sterile emptiness of Richard's kitchen. He glances up as the cockroach disappears behind the sign, reclaiming its territory. The restaurant is no longer his kingdom. It's just another closed door in a city that's moving on. The phone buzzes again, a final review lighting up the screen. Justice served cold. Richard sets the device aside, the weight of the moment settling in his chest. The closed sign hangs steady, a weapon wielded not by Richard, but by the truth that finally caught up to him. Across the street, Javier's soul food truck glows under string lights, a beacon in the dusk. The line winds around the Block families, friends, former staff, all drawn by the promise of warmth and belonging. Laughter ripples through the crowd, the kind that's been stifled too long. Richard sits in his parked car, hands tight around a half-empty whiskey bottle, watching as his old customers find new comfort. The aroma of jerk chicken and sweet plantains drifts over, slipping through his open window. He closes his eyes, the scent a reminder of everything his kitchen never offered. Someone in line waves to Javier, who grins and calls out, "We're just getting started." A little girl tugs her mother's sleeve, asking, "Can we eat here, every night?" Former staff mingle in the queue, sharing stories, trading hugs. The waitress who once avoided Richard's gaze now laughs freely, plate in hand. The sous chef claps Javier on the back, pride shining in his eyes. The busboy, usually so quiet, helps carry trays to waiting tables set up on the sidewalk. Richard's phone buzzes with another angry review, but he ignores it, gaze fixed on the gathering across the street. The music from Javier's truck is soft but steady, a rhythm that draws people closer. The crowd swells, voices rising in celebration, no one looking back at the shuttered restaurant behind them. A reporter snaps a photo of the line, capturing the moment the community reclaims its space. Javier waves at the camera, apron dusted. With flour, smile wide and genuine. The laughter from the pop-up drowns out the low rumble of Richard's car engine. He takes a slow sip of whiskey, the burn hollow. The world he built is gone, replaced by something brighter, more honest. The night air hums with possibility, and for the first time Richard realizes he's on the outside looking in. Nia stands in the Williams kitchen, holding a small printout of her viral livestream. The image captures Richard's stunned face. Frozen in the moment everything changed. She smooths the tape, pressing the photo onto the fridge door, right next to a drawing of her family. The fridge hums quietly, a new kind of energy filling the room. Jollof rice bubbles on the stove, the scent of tomatoes and spices drifting through the air. Marcus stirs the pot, humming a song from his childhood, each note steady and proud. Tasha sets plates on the table, her smile gentle, eyes shining with quiet victory. The kitchen buzzes with laughter and the clatter of utensils, a soundtrack of resilience. Nia looks at the photo again, remembering the fear and the hope that pulsed through her hands as she filmed. She reads a message on her phone. "You made a difference." She grins, heart swelling. Marcus glances over, voice warm. "That's our girl." Tasha squeezes Nia's shoulder, pride unspoken but unmistakable. The family gathers at the table, hands joined for a moment of gratitude. Outside, city lights twinkle, but inside the glow comes from their unity. Nia scrolls through messages of support, each one a reminder that their story reached far beyond the kitchen walls. Marcus serves the rice, steam rising in the golden light. Tasha lifts her glass. To truth, and to new beginnings. They toast, the clink of glasses soft but powerful. As they eat, the fridge stands in the corner, its door now a monument to what they've overcome. The image of Richard's downfall is not just a trophy, but a promise that dignity, once claimed, can never be taken away. The kitchen, once a place of routine, is now a sanctuary of triumph. Richard sits alone at his kitchen counter, the restaurant, now dark behind him. He pours another inch of whiskey, the bottle clinking against the glass. The liquor burns, but it does nothing to dull the ache in his chest. He scrolls through his phone, each swipe revealing another review, another headline. Justice served, community finds its voice, Javier's pop-up, 5 stars. He taps on a photo of Javier's food truck, the line of customers stretching down the block. Laughter and music spill from the screen, a world he can't touch. He reads a comment, "Feels like home." Richard's own reviews scream back at him, "Racist, never again, closed for good." The words sting, sharp and relentless. His cufflinkless sleeve snags on the edge of the bar stool as he shifts, the once gleaming accessory now just a memory. He looks at his reflection in the microwave door, face drawn, eyes rimmed red. The kitchen feels colder, emptier than ever. He takes another sip, the whiskey's heat turning sour. He tries to remember the last time the restaurant was filled with joy, with real connection, but the memories slip away, replaced by images of inspectors, cameras, and the faces of staff he never really saw. A notification pops up. Javier's pop-up trending. He turns the phone face down, unable to look. The ice in his glass melts, watering down the last of his pride. Outside, the city moves on without him, the sounds of celebration drifting in through a cracked window. Richard closes his eyes, the weight of regret settling heavy and final. The kitchen, once his domain, is now just a room filled with ghosts and echoes of what could have been. Neighbors pass by Richard's shuttered restaurant without a glance, their footsteps quickening as they cross the street. The windows, once polished and inviting, now reflect only darkness. A mother and her young daughter pause on the sidewalk. The girl tugs her mother's sleeve, pointing at the locked doors. "Why's it closed, Mama?" The mother's voice is low, but clear enough for Richard to hear through the glass, because some places don't deserve to stay open. Richard stands just inside, keys cold in his hand, watching the world move on. The usual greetings from locals are gone, replaced by averted eyes and tightened lips. A delivery driver hesitates. At the curb, checks the address, then drives away without stopping. The silence outside is louder than any protest, a verdict delivered not with shouts, but with absence. A group of former staff walk by, laughing together, arms linked. They don't look his way, but their joy is a quiet declaration of freedom. The busboy, now working at Javier's pop-up, waves to a friend across the street, his smile wide and unburdened. Richard turns away from the window, the sting of rejection settling deep. He fumbles with his keys, the metal biting into his palm. The restaurant that once gave him status is now a monument to isolation, a warning more than a legacy. A gust of wind rattles the closed sign, making it swing on its hook. The sound echoes through the empty dining room. Richard stands alone, surrounded by reminders of what he's lost. Not just a business, but the respect and trust of a community that no longer sees him at all. Tasha stirs a pot of jollof rice. The kitchen filled with the scent of tomatoes and peppers. Each bubble and simmer is a small act of defiance, reclaiming joy in the place where so much tension once lived. Marcus sets the table, humming softly, the tune carrying a quiet pride. Nia sits nearby, scrolling through her phone, her live stream replaying on the screen. The view count climbs past 100,000. Comments pour in. "Thank you for showing the truth. Your courage matters." Nia smiles, reading a message from Javier. "You did what I couldn't. Thank you." She glances at her parents, her heart full. Marcus leans over, kisses Tasha's temple. "You did it," he says. Tasha laughs, her voice light for the first time in days. "We did it together." She ladles the rice onto plates, the tomatoes, bright as hope. The fridge hums in the corner, the collage of photos and messages a monument to quiet power and community support. Nia tapes another screenshot to the fridge door, this one of Javier's pop-up, the line stretching down the block. "He's doing well," she says. Tasha nods, eyes shining. "He deserves it." Marcus raises his glass. To truth, and to everyone who refused to stay silent. They eat together, the meal rich with meaning. Outside, the city buzzes with new stories, but inside, the Williams family savors a victory. That tastes like home. The kitchen, once a place of routine, is now a sanctuary of resilience. The rice simmers, the truth lingers, and the family's laughter rises, stronger than any injustice. The world may be watching, but tonight, this kitchen belongs to them. Caldwell Closed flashes across every screen, trending from city blocks to distant suburbs. Memes swirl Richard's stunned face, the closed sign, Javier's food truck, packed with smiling faces. The community's voice is loud, creative, and relentless. Richard's phone buzzes with alerts, each one a reminder that his story is no longer his to control. He ignores a call from his lawyer, the screen lighting up with another notification. "Your reservation at All Welcome Eats is confirmed." He deletes the message, thumb pressing too hard, a thin crack spidering across the glass. The world is moving on, and he can't stop it. Javier's truck appears in every post, tagged by former staff and new customers alike. Best meal in town. This is what a community looks like. The reviews are glowing, the photos full of laughter and shared plates. Richard scrolls through them, jaw clenched, unable to look away. In the Williams kitchen, Nia checks her phone, a smile spreading as she sees the hashtag trending. "It's everywhere, Mom. People are listening." Tasha nods, her pride quiet, but fierce. Marcus grins, raising his glass in a silent toast to everyone who spoke up. Outside, neighbors gather around Javier's truck, snapping photos and sharing stories. The laughter is real, the energy infectious. The old restaurant is just a backdrop now, its windows dark, its story finished. Richard sits alone, the cracked screen in his hand reflecting the fractured pieces of his reputation. The hashtag's echo is inescapable, a chorus he cannot drown, out or erase. The community has claimed the narrative, turning pain into progress, exclusion into celebration. The story belongs to them now, and the world is watching, learning, and remembering. Richard stands at the edge of the line for Javier's food truck, shoulders hunched, eyes down. He waits quietly, unnoticed at first, the laughter and music swirling around him. When it's finally his turn, he orders softly, barely meeting Javier's eyes. "Just whatever's good today." Javier nods. No trace of gloating in his voice, only a calm professionalism. Coming right up. The aroma of spices fills the air as Javier plates the food, handing it over with a simple, "Enjoy." Richard takes the box, feeling the heat. Through the cardboard, the weight of humility heavier than any meal he's carried before. He finds a quiet spot on a nearby bench, opens the lid, and takes a bite. The flavors are bold, vibrant layers of heat and sweetness, smoke and comfort. Richard chews slowly, realizing his own kitchen never produced anything this honest or alive. He looks up, watching families laugh, friends sharing bites, former staff serving and being served with dignity. Javier glances over, offering a small nod, no triumph, just grace. Richard finishes the meal, every bite a reminder of what he lost and what he never understood. He glances at the receipt. Paid in full, there's no charge, no debt, only an invitation to accept what is and move forward. He stands, box in hand, and walks home through streets alive with possibility. The night air is thick with the scent of food and laughter, the city's pulse, stronger than ever. Richard's legacy is no longer written in menus or marble, but in the humility of this last meal and the hope he sees in the faces around him. He tosses the empty box in the bin, the taste lingering, the lesson clear. The yaoi world has changed, and so must he.